Many weeks ago, right here on this channel, we said that the ODM party kwisha maneno. And even more recently, I believe it was last week, we sensationally announced that actually the ODM party would go down before the UDA Kenya Kwanza government. Imagine that the whole setup is the Titanic and the ODM party is in one end of the ship. That end of the ODM party will go down first before the entire ship goes down to the bottom of the ocean. And now it seems to be coming to pass. Because what was unspoken before has now been clearly voiced, clearly spoken by leading politicians within the Orange Democratic Movement. The most prominent and recent one being utterances from Secretary General Edwin Sifuna and the Saboti legislator Caleb Amisi, who have come out and told us very clearly that they're going to lead a mass walkout out of one of the oldest and indisputable largest political party in the country called Kenya. Super interesting. There seems to be a brand new political outfit, coalition, being formed, called Kenya Moja, featuring people like Edwin Sifuna, Caleb Amisi, controversial MP Gathoni Wamushomba, she's the legislator for Githunguri constituency, within Murema, and others. And about 2 days ago, these politicians at the forefront of Kenya Moja attended an empowerment function in the constituency of Governor, wait for this one, George Natembeya, the man behind the Tawe movement that has swept right across the Mulembe nation like a tsunami. But I'll come back to that in a minute. First, allow me to give you an update on my last video on the mysterious absence of the Siaya governor, James Orengo. Now, it has not yet been 48 hours since I produced that video where we highlighted this very disturbing development in Siaya County. And it seems that people were waiting. Since then, there's been a flurry of activity, beginning with mainstream media going full blast, no holds barred, on this issue. And what this has done is to raise the pressure against those who should tell us where James Orengo is. And one of the results of this was a curious resignation letter with the signature of Orengo. Now, the first thought that came to my mind when I saw this letter was, Allah, somebody who cannot sign urgent county documents, including budget release documents, seems to be very comfortably able to quickly sign a resignation letter. There's something wrong here. And indeed, a few hours after this letter first emerged on social media, the ODM party came out very strongly and told us, no, that's a fake. They were very sure it's a fake, which also raised other questions in my curious mind. Why were they so quick? Why were they so sure that Orengo did not sign any resignation letter? Obviously, they have information. They know where Orengo is. They know his condition. And that's why they were so sure. And that raises yet another question. Why are they not telling Kenyans? Why? especially the long-suffering residents of Siaya, why are they not being given some information on their governor? Why? But that is not all. Something else very interesting, and unfortunately yet another red flag telling us there is something terribly wrong here, has come up. And it is the story of Ugenya Changa. This story has literally come out of the woodwork. Oh, Orengo's a Changa person. Oh, Orengo used to like hard drinks. Oh, Orengo must have been affected by these hard drinks. You get the gist. Yeah, the whole idea is to convince Kenyans to move in large numbers in that direction of hard drinks are causing Orengo a problem. And that is where Orengo is missing. Now. Let me ask you a simple question. I know some of you may have the answer. James Orengo and Oburu Odinga, what do they have in common? I know some of us may know. Yeah, both of them are known to be big fans of very hard drinks. Yeah, and I'm not talking about soft drinks. No! Okay, I'm sure you get my meaning. And so, to counter this story that we're being given, both of them are known to be fans of hard drinks. Oburu Odinga is okay. So, what are you trying to tell us? Are you trying to tell us that everybody who partakes of such substances must fall seriously sick and disappear? Are you trying to tell us that? I mean, that's ridiculous. And in any case, Oburu Odinga is much older than James Orengo. Ish. These are all very red flags which should tell us there is something here that is not right. You know, even in the case of the late Kilonzo Sr., do you remember the stories were being pushed towards? Viagra, overdose, oh, this person, he likes women, this happened, that happened, he had an overdose of Viagra. You guys know how it goes, eh? That is what caused this tragedy. Do you see the similarities? Very sad. We're all praying and really hoping against hope that all is well with gallant, brave, patriotic James Orengo. Okay? But the red flags are just too many. Too many. And that striking resemblance of what happened when Kilonzo Sr. was murdered with the case of the Siaya governor, that has to be very, very worrying for most Kenyans. It is very strange. Not even the family has issued a statement. Why? Why is nobody telling us where James Orengo is? Kwa nini? Please tell us. Whatever it is, whatever has happened to him, Kenyans deserve to know. Residents of the great county of Siaya deserve to know. By the way, my experience has taught me that many times when you go back to the past to find out what happened, it helps you a lot to understand the present. Yeah, and I just want to inform you that my package, which includes videos based on my controversial ebook that has stood the test of time over what really happened to Kilonzo Sr., that package is still available, but only for a very short time. It is very useful. I highly recommend it for those who want to fully understand this issue, even as we wait for news, or an update on the Orengo thing. It is a very useful piece of information to have in your hands. If you're interested, please stay with me. I will talk about that a little later on my show today. Right. The best way of summarizing the political situation in Kenya right now, the best phrase for a bird's eye view so that you quickly understand what is going down right now and what is about to happen shortly is the following. Overturn, overturn, overturn until he comes, he whose right it is. Veterans of this channel, older members, will remember that prophecy that we promoted on this channel way back in 2017. And you will remember that shortly after this prophecy came out, the election of President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was overturned by the Supreme Court. But I believe that particular prophecy was much more far-reaching. Yani, mambo bado. Yeah? Especially when we look at this latest development, where we are preparing to say kwaheri ya kuonana, farewell, to a party called ODM. I mean, if I told you a year ago that very soon ODM would be no more, you would have laughed me off. Chris, what are you smoking these days? I'm sure that's what you'd have told me. But here we are. And if you're doubting, please consider the following political fact. When things on the ground are so clear, okay, and then a few politicians try to ride on a wave, then you know it's kwisha maneno. Because, contrary to the view of a vast majority of Kenyans, the ODM party and its leader have been trying to push very hard in support of the broad-based government. They've even given us hints that there's a high likelihood that President William Samoei Ruto could be the ODM-supported candidate for re-election in 2027. We have seen that. And so, it is so easy to predict the result of all this. Isn't it? The result is that the vast majority of people, because this is politics, the voices of the vast majority of the Kenyan people cannot be silenced. Never ever. No matter what political acrobatics you want to do, no matter what high-tech political games you want to play in order to turn around the situation, nothing can work against the voices of the vast majority of Kenyans. That should be pretty obvious. And this member of parliament from Saboti, Caleb Amisi, is simply preparing for his re-election. He's a politician. And he has seen a very easy way back to parliament. Yeah? Side with the people early. Side with the voice of the people early. And the Secretary General of the ODM party is clearly, carefully rebranding himself. And it is going to be very, very easy for him. Yeah, a few things are easy in politics. But this one is going to be so easy for Edwin Sifuna because he has been consistent. He has not changed. He has always told us right from the beginning that him and anything to support Ruto, tawe, won't work. And I can already hear the question. Chris, what do you think is going to happen now? These people of Kenya Moja are not supporting Gachagua. So are we going to have a divided, fractured opposition to face Ruto? And doesn't that mean that Ruto will win re-election very early in the morning because the opposition is divided? I can hear that question. And my response? Hey, you know, I am very puzzled and I have no idea where this thing came from. This thing of a divided opposition will be defeated by Ruto. I have no idea where it came from. And I have no idea what the arithmetic behind it is. Because from the little arithmetic I know, 0 cannot change to 100 just because the people holding the 100 have divided the 100 amongst themselves. How does that 0 which was standing there change? I mean, let us be serious. Look at the numbers. One candidate has 0. And then the other 5 candidates have 20 votes each. Okay? Now if those candidates unite, they'll all have 100 votes against this 0. But the 0 is constant. It doesn't change. How will it change? Okay, I can hear somebody say that what is going to happen is that the people with 20 votes each, this person with 0 is going to steal 7 votes from each, and then is going to have a narrow victory. I can hear that. Now hold on a minute. Rigging an election has a certain science, okay? And trust me, it will not work stealing votes from many candidates. The way it works is that you have one major candidate, so that the algorithm that you enter into the computer, for every 1 vote I get, you get so many votes from so and so, so that algorithm works countrywide. You see, when you have 5 small candidates protecting their small votes, that one will not work. I can assure you that. It won't. But there's another much bigger concern about this thing of having a united opposition. When you have this united opposition manenos, we're missing something here very important. When you have this united opposition who sit on a table and choose a leader for us, somebody to fly the flag for all of them, and they make their deals, mi nitapata hii, mi nitapata that position, and so on and so forth, they deny Kenyans the opportunity to choose their leaders based on the character of those particular individual leaders. And that is what we are fighting against. And therefore, we've very easily been removed from that noble road and taken back to tribal groupings and taken back to one opposition candidate. And it has been so easy to fool us, because what has been used is fear. You create the fear and you create the horror movie. If we don't do that, then President Ruto will be re-elected. That scares Kenyans. At what? They stop thinking. No. Ruto cannot be re-elected. No. We must make sure that never happens. Let the opposition unite. One opposition candidate. Sawa. Aye. Friends, please note one political reality. Even if there are 100 presidential candidates, the one candidate the Kenyan people interview, and they determine this is the character we want. Once Kenyans have decided, what is going to happen is that one candidate will get all the votes of all the other politicians sitting on that table trying to get a united opposition candidate. All those votes will go to that one person. Kenyans, please wake up. We're being forced back into our tribal cocoons. That is what is happening. And these people are very clever. And they're outsmarting us. Please, let us not allow it. We do not want a united opposition candidate. No! Unless all these opposition candidates are prepared to finance a primary election where they all go to the ballot and we Kenyans choose who is going to be the united opposition candidate. That one will work. But to choose for us in a boardroom, tawe. It won't work. It will not work for a better Kenya. Please let us see that. We all very urgently need to get to that place where we will not care whether the candidate with the character we need is a Kikuyu, a Luo, a Kamba, a Pokomo. We don't need to care about their tribe. Their tribe is irrelevant. What we need is somebody who will champion real change in Kenya. What we need is a leader who has character and a track record, evidence to prove that they can bring about the change that Kenyans crave for, desire so much. That is all. The tribe is irrelevant. Oh, Chris, we cannot have another Kikuyu. No way. Huh? Don't you know that we're all Kikuyu? My name is Chris Karaoke Kumekucha. And there is something else. When you start talking like that, just stop for a minute and try and think. Who else is talking like that? Where did that mantra come from initially? Yeah? Who has been spreading that phrase all over social media? It cannot be another Kikuyu. Who has been spreading it? Do you remember where it started? It started with government bloggers against Omonyoro, Rigathi Gachagua. It was designed to ensure that Kenyans would stop loving Omonyoro for what he's doing. Do you now remember? And so, if Kenyans hear you talking like that, can you blame them for assuming that you must be with the government bloggers? Can you blame them? Well, I don't think so. In fact, if I heard you talking like that, that is the first thing which comes to my mind. Because it is rubbish. It doesn't make any sense. If the character of karaoke is best suited to take our country to the next level that we desire, so be it. In any case, we have many heroes from the past who, had they been alive today, may have qualified to do this. And many of those people I'm thinking of were from Murema. So let's get serious. And then there are those people I hear saying all the time, tribalism has not ended in Kenyan politics. It will never end. Yani, they're giving us a prophecy. Kenyans are making an effort. Indeed, Kenyans have gone very far. They have done so much in killing this thing called tribalism. And do you realize, when you start giving such prophecies, oh, tribalism will never end in Kenya, you're promoting Kenyans to go back to where we've come from. By the way, I'm very sure when you go to the next polls, you will confirm tribalism has ended in Kenya. Simply because we're all feeling the heat. We're all feeling the effects of terrible leadership. Nobody is thinking tribe right now. That one I can assure you. If you're still thinking tribe in your house, you must know today that you're in the minority in the country called Kenya. Because I'm on the ground. I speak to Kenyans every day. And these Kenyans, I spoke to them a few months ago. And I've spoken to them today. And I know they have changed. They do not want to hear anything about tribe. When it comes to politics, they do not want to hear what you're trying to tell them. But it's okay. You can continue. It is your constitutional right to speak rubbish. Okay? Now, as promised earlier, there is this package of this amazing, controversial ebook on why and how Mutula Kilonzo Sr. was murdered. And also included in this package is a long list of videos linked to the contents of this ebook that reveals the crazy, high-tech, unbelievable way in which this politician was finished. And very important, why it was done. Okay? You can see details on the screens right now. This package also includes 2 Moto Kuliko Pasi ya Makaa special reports from the past, that are also very relevant to what we're facing right now. In Siaya, for only 14.99 Kenya shillings. Pop, you can have this amazing, revealing package in your email inbox. Just use the usual M-Pesa number you see on your screens right now. Folks, beware the month of August. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.